YouTube. I am Noel, aka Noel, and I will be here every Saturday. So tune in to see some randomness or art or whatever I feel like putting up. Yeah. Let me tell you a little bit about myself before I start the segment today. I am originally from New York. I currently live in California. I had just moved here, and I've noticed a lot of similarities and differences between the two states. Obviously, they're two different states. So that brings me to today's topic. Today's topic is New York versus California. And pretty much what I'm going to be doing is stating the obvious differences that I have found being here in California for 2 months and just going over everything. All right. So the first thing that I have is people. All right. The people are different from California than New York. In New York, they're a little bit more tougher. They don't get their feelings hurt so easily. They say whatever's on their mind. They're pretty blunt and pretty out there, which I love, which is how I am. So in California, they're a little bit more sensitive, but they're more open-minded and they're more able to accept things how they are and a lot more chill and all this stuff because the chill Californian really is something. I thought it was a lie, but it's not. Trust me, it's not. Also, the people in California actually are a little bit nicer than New York. I love New York. I'm totally for New York and all that. But sometimes people in New York can be a little bit too harsh. And sometimes people in California can be a little bit too not harsh. All right, so the second topic is environment, like buildings and beaches and stuff. Obviously, here in California, there are not skyscraper buildings and stuff everywhere like there is in New York. And in New York, they're not everywhere either, but, you know, for the most part, in Manhattan, all that stuff. The beaches in New York are not as nice as the beaches in California. There are palm trees here that are not in New York. There are, different kinds of, like, events that you can go to in New York that you can't go to here, and stuff like that. Taxis are different. Very popular over here actually is Uber. Over there it's the gypsy taxis or whatever when you pull out your finger and somebody just randomly comes up to you asking if you need a ride. That's what's over there. Over here it's Uber. Also you need a car to get around here because there's buses and trains and stuff, but they're not as advanced as the one in New York. So you just need to I'd say driving is definitely the best option here. Plus, you can get your license a lot earlier over here in California. You can get a permit when you're 14, and in New York, you get your permit when you're, I think, 17 or 16. Okay. Third thing is seasons and climate. Obviously, it is freaking brick cold in New York City, but over here, it'll be like 63 degrees, but it'll be like 28 degrees over there. Do not get me wrong, the 60 degrees here in California is cold. I be cold in 60 degree weather, but in New York, 60 degree weather don't bother me. I don't know why, but it gets kind of chilly in California. Not coat weather. I don't know why I see people walking around with coats. It's not that serious. It really isn't. Next, style. Styles are obviously different. I don't really know what to call the styles exactly, but they definitely don't dress the same, especially on weather and stuff like that, and on what they're feeling. Like over here in California, they're more open, expressive, colorful, all that stuff. So like tie-dye shirts, and they like wearing a lot of crop tops and stuff like that. And I don't wear that stuff because I don't feel like I should be wearing that. I'm from New York. They don't really dress like that over there, kind of, sort of. But definitely the style is different over there. Talking, obviously, I have an accent. Yeah, nobody sounds like me here in California because they don't have my accent because I'm not from California. They sound differently, they talk differently, the slang they use is completely different from what I would use. For example, in New York, we say very commonly deadass, or OD, or you wildin', or something like that. And people over here in California don't know what I'm saying unless I explain it to them. So if I say, oh, you tripping, or I'm mad tight, or something like that, they'd be like, what are you saying? I'm just like, oh, I have to explain it to them. 7, nationalities. Nationalities range very differently in California than they do in New York City. In New York City, you get a lot of Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, which I am Puerto Rican, African Americans. You don't really see a lot of white people, to be honest with you. Not where I lived, at least. In California, it's different. You have a lot of Russians and a lot of white people. A lot of Armenians, Mexicans, also have African Americans. But I don't really see I don't see any Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and stuff like that, like how I see over there. Like in Florida, you see a lot of Cubans. So it's like, it ranges differently. 8, sexual sexual acceptance. Sexual acceptance is happily being accepted more everywhere in the USA. So California definitely is a lot more accepting about things than in New York, because like I said, they're a lot tougher in New York and stuff like that. However, the gay parade is in New York, which is actually a really fun parade, which if you go to New York, you should definitely check it out, because I liked it. It was fun. Had a good time. In California, just people like to dress out more often. They just don't care about what other people say, pretty much. They just like, they'll, if you're transgender and you feel like you want to be the opposite sex, then you go outside and you dress like that, and not a lot of people are gonna knock you for it. At least where I live. All right. Of course, there are other parts of California that I haven't been to, because again, I've only been here for 2 months. But you know, from what I've seen in this area, definitely. And these are, of course, just my opinions about California and New York. I obviously have to, if I had to pick a favorite, I definitely pick New York. Obviously, I was born and raised 17 years in New York City. But California is a great place. So if you're thinking about coming here to California, I think you should definitely give it a try and check out everything it has to offer, because it has to offer a lot. So that was my segment today. Join in, tune in every Saturday to see another video from me. Again, I'm Noel. Deuces. Bye.